Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk About Lego. It's your host, Jason, with Brickstop, as well as Brick Monarch. Sorry, I got somebody pounding on the door here. Just one second. If it ain't something, it's something else. We had a little bit of technical difficulties starting up the live, but we are here. Sorry, Andrew with Brick Monarch Shop. I gotta go check on these kids. They're having a problem. I'm sorry. So I will be right back. Andrew, hang in there.
Hey. Hey guys, how you doing? Thank you guys for joining tonight. I had to reload everything back into StreamYard. So while Jason's checking that out, I want to welcome everybody in here. Don Unlisted, Adam Ride, Peter N, Luis, Rosario, Mirko's in here, Jose is in here, General Tron, Steve Moon, welcome. James Westman, how's it going, man? Ardo, hello. So tonight we are going to be talking about the castle. So that's pretty fun, right? What's up, Retro? Alternate candidate, welcome. Give me just a second here, guys. Hopefully, Jason comes back to us here momentarily. There he is.
Hey. Oh, man, you can't get more authentic than that. We're real people with real families doing this. All right.
Dude,
how's everybody doing tonight?
Absolutely a shithole.
Yeah, everything just falling apart.
All the time.
Cool. Yeah, well, did we welcome everybody? Say hello.
Yeah, talk to everybody. BZ, welcome. Right. PX Chris, what's going on?
All good.
So obviously you guys are interested in knowing a little bit more about this castle.
Yes.
So we're hoping that everybody enjoys this video. We do have 13, I think it's 13 total images that I want to show. So we're going to go through slowly and talk. We will watch the comments for questions.
Yep.
I don't know what you guys want to know. I mean, what can I say? It's a big ass Lego castle.
Yeah. The thing has been it's still in the works, but it's been in the works for a couple of years now, and yeah, you're always adding to it when you can. Yeah, so normally I have, just a disclaimer, normally I have somebody with the kiddos, but they're kind of flying solo tonight, so if I have to jump out, that's what's going to happen. But we're going to try and make it through without another bashing down of the door here. So, but yeah, cool. Yeah, no, I'm excited to look at these. I've seen, obviously, you've shown me some of it. I've probably seen more of it than anyone else.
Yeah.
And then I've helped, obviously, there was some, planning that I helped you with, and a couple different designs and things. So
don't get it twisted. Jason's got a big part in this, as far as design and scope and a few odds and ends. He is designing all the buildings for the Bailey, and then several external builds for the overall bigger project that is not really going to be disclosed just yet.
Yeah, we have there's a lot that's going on with this castle, and we're gonna give you guys kind of what's tonight is a sneak peek of a bigger project that will be slowly unfolded over the next probably year and a half. So
this is not a castle. It's just going to show up to a show, and then that's the end of it.
Yeah. There's going to be. Yeah, we got a lot more plans for.
So let's jump in here real quick. Well, hold on, Luis. Are you going to have your own banner for the castle? Yeah, I do kind of. I've made some stickers and whatnot, so you'll see those in a few images. But yeah, I am making some custom stuff for the castle. So here's the whole castle.
There it is in all its glory.
Now I have clipped out the base that it's built on towards the back. just for a cleaner look because it's just bricks. It is all black bricks, but I wanted it to be cleaner for the video, so I clipped it all out.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can see, I mean, you can see the little minifigs out in the front here, so that's a good kind of reference for scale. It's even in this, like, it's hard to comprehend the scale of what you're looking at.
Yeah, the scale of this is absolutely massive.
Yeah, I think we were talking earlier. You said a safe estimate for weight would be roughly 500 to 600 pounds.
Yeah.
So the thing is, it's really, yeah, there we go. Laura Ipsum just dropped how much does it weigh right when I was answering that question. Yeah. So roughly, yeah, 500 pounds or so, 550. Dude. Yeah, just take it in, guys. I mean, we can talk about it. I've seen some of these images. I've been involved in the build process some remotely with Andrew. It's got everything a real castle had.
Yeah,
it is
everything.
built, and it's built to scale
Very
to
much
a real castle. So, you know, the gatehouses, the housings for the chains on the drawbridge, down to like the arrow loops, everything. I mean, the crenellations or the battlements, whatever you want to call those, you know, they're large enough to house hoardings on them during a siege. You can slide those on, and you know, I mean, doors are all to scale.
Yeah.
Like,
so a couple questions here. Don Unlisted, the table itself is roughly 9 foot by 5 foot wide. I have the specs on another image. I'll show that here in a few minutes. The name, obviously, I like the Targaryens. Dragonstone from Game of Thrones, Lionstone, that's where the name came from. It is built modular, BZ. It's built in 9 pieces.
yeah.
So they all vary in weight, you know, but roughly, you know, 500 to 600 pounds. I haven't weighed each one. I just know that the middle sections of the castle require 2 people to move.
Yeah, and they slide. They can slide out. So
yeah, they can slide out easily.
Slide back and forth. Yeah. Yeah. So they're not. You didn't add pins, did you? You didn't need to.
No, because it weighs so much.
Yeah, they just set next to each other. Yeah.
Yeah. Now they're around
Pretty
the
cool.
terrain. The terrain is going to have Technic pins because
Right.
it's lighter. I do plan on bringing it to the shows once it's completely finished. Let's see. Thank you. Thank you. Pretty magnificent. A lot of wows. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. I've got about $50,000 invested in this castle. So that kind of may give you an idea of the capacity of this. There is a full interior. Everything that a castle has, it's in this castle. I cannot show you everything.
Yeah, we can't show you everything tonight, but we'll show you something
later with it. But every single chunk is cut, and you can see the insides of every single room, and it's absolutely fantastic, honestly.
To add to that, every walkway is cobblestone with multiple little bits and pieces of circular stone brick and things. And then you have
100,000 pieces is my latest count from the brickling quarters and pieces that have invested in.
Yeah, so it's not just a hollow shell. A lot of people do that. They'll build something impressive like this, but it's mostly hollow with maybe 1 or 2 little areas you can look inside that are furnished. That's not the case with this. Like when I said it was built with like an actual to scale real castle, that's also everything inside. Staircases, doors, windows leading into hallways leading into either. Did you do much wood floors on anything, or was it mostly cobble and like
no,
sand?
It's wood floors on the higher levels because
there are wood.
It's accurate to medieval castle.
That's okay. So you have beams going across with the wood floors and stuff. I thought that was correct. I just wasn't sure 100%. And then there's also decorative stonework in some of the more magnificent rooms. Like it's not just all cobble. So
yeah, there's literally everything. It's got a kitchen. It's got a grand hall. It's got a war room. It's got a throne room. It's got a chapel.
Lots of dungeons.
There's dungeons. There's storage rooms, wood storage, food storage. Just, I mean, literally everything. And I'm hoping to disclose all of this information, I would say maybe by middle of the year next year or next Christmas at the latest.
Yeah. And let's see. Let's address a couple questions here. Could you? Oh, sorry. I was gonna say something. Any secret passages? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
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 uh,
Hey, I've got a couple things I'm going to show you guys on this today that you're probably, it's probably going to blow your mind. You haven't seen anything yet. Right?
Yo, yeah, we're just giving you the preliminaries, get you prepared here. Just
So
take some
this
breaths.
is basically the side, this is the side facing the terrain that is going to go on the table. I have approximately four and a half 16 stud plates of terrain by the full length of the table. Also is going to be put into this. So that is all going to be on this side of the castle as displayed. The other side of the castle is basically a rock wall that goes down the whole one side. It's built, you know, all with the dark tan. You know, when we said 250 plus burps,
Yeah.
that's where they went. You know, it was
Yeah.
it was to help structure this rock wall along this back side, so
Yeah.
that it didn't look completely, you know, unfinished on the one side. I wanted it to be a full 360 view on the castle. Although I'm, you know, obviously limited to the 5x9 tabletop.
Well, you shaped most of these. It looks like you're probably preparing a little more shaping down on the close to the gatehouse there, where it's
Yeah,
just stacked brick. But
yeah,
like up top here, you've really shaped this rock up against the walls really nicely. So it's like it looks really good. Yeah, it
yeah.
looks nice.
I wanted it mounted into the rock.
Yeah, like it's clinging to the side of this cliff a little bit. Yeah.
Now, going into some of the um, interior, when I said Jason was working on some of the Bailey buildings, this is kind of what I had applied and given to him ahead of time. So I would draw out what was going to go where.
Yeah.
And I did a full Photoshop floor plan of the castle, showing exactly where everything was going to be placed. And then I would give him a Photoshop render over top of the photograph to help him build these buildings on the inside that are going to sit down in the, like, nestle down into the Bailey, where there may be a 2 or 3 stud wide alleyway where there might be, like, you know, a guy with a knife, you know,
Right.
I mean, like literally filling out the entire space. And I did want to show you some examples of some of these buildings that Jason is putting in here. They're absolutely fantastic. Like,
Appreciate it, man.
Some
Yeah.
of these are like sets that you would want for your medieval town.
Yeah, so these, no one has ever seen these except you, Andrew, until right now. So we have the tanner here with the tanning tools, right? On the this would be the one on the right side. You know, they're soaking the tanning.
And then the one on the left is the carpenter.
Yeah, the carpenter shop there on the left with some bent nails in the wood and some studs and rivets. They're building ladders and railings, and you see all the carpenter tools. Also, it's worthy to note that all of these roofs have chunks that come out so you can see inside the lofts of each building, and there's sections of the walls that slide out as well, just like a cross-section castle would, where you can see inside, and there's interior in the upper parts of these buildings as well, because it's completely and 100% fully detailed, like we were talking about. The castle is, and so are the buildings I created to put inside the courtyards and the Baileys. So these are yeah, this is a major sneak peek. I've got, what, how many of these did we do? There's 8 of them or something like that. 6 of them. Do I lose Andrew? I think we lost Andrew, but you can look at this for a little bit till it reloads. So I'll address you guys in the chat here. My Spacer Knight says my wife is concerned about whether or not this is insured. Yeah, hopefully. Hey there. Did you hear the insurance question?
Yeah.
Do you have this insured, bro?
It is not currently insured.
Might not be a bad idea. You can get a collector's insurance. And if you have those Bricklink orders to show how much it's worth, you could get some insurance on it in case someone jumped on it or something.
I mean, somebody jumped on these, dude, I'd probably kill him.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah, I
straight
guess you
out.
don't need at that point. What's yeah. Let's see. Retro space coats. Oh man, the river style Tudor panels on the curved tiles snot look awesome, Jason. Oh, thanks. Appreciate it. Oh yeah, the little window pieces there. Yeah. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, these I put a lot of time into these ones. These were fun to build.
Yeah, and
Um,
they're actually built, and the Baileys will be built so that the plate that these are setting on will inset into the Bailey floor, so
right.
that it will disappear, so that the stones in the floor of it will be at basically grass level.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah, and
all
these are built fairly sturdily. They're not, for the most part, they're pretty structurally sound buildings. As far as I can tell, we haven't. I don't think we've done too many of them in real brick yet. We've done the digital versions just to get them mocked up like this.
yeah. I
Um,
mean, I do plan on spending a good portion of the winter trying to
yeah.
get these put together, so that I can start flowing them in. There's that plus the interior,
Right.
plus the terrain. The terrain is
Yeah.
also, a big part.
Um, Luis says, "Hey Jason, you're going to release instructions for these buildings." We had talked about doing like a complimentary something for the castle, like, oh, you guys like this, like check out this book where you can build some of the, I mean, the that would be a massive book, so they'd have to be probably digital downloads or something. I haven't talked to Andrew really about that. These were legitimately, I mean, this was my contribution to his project, because we will be doing a lot of things with it in the future. Yes, shows and other things. We've got some big plans for it still. This is the most anyone's ever obviously seen of any of this kind of secret behind the scenes project we've been
Yeah,
working on. And this is what we've been doing on top of doing our live streams, on top of doing our Instagram content, on top of running the Brick Monarch shop. This is our,
family.
yeah, doing the Bricklink designer program entry, like, and building PDFs for a couple of my things when I can. So, we always got something going in the background. And this is the major project we've been working on. So
Yeah. So I hope you guys.
instructions for the yeah, for real.
So
Uh,
here's the specs. Here's a profile of the castle. Uh,
yeah,
Table. The display table is 60 inches by 113. Display is 58 inches by 111. So the actual build is 111 by 58 across the table. 52 inches tall from table to the highest pitch. The castle is 94 inches long overall, and at the widest, there at the four square towers in the middle, it's 31 and a half inches wide.
very nice. I also really like that this isn't just. Here's another point I'll make about this design that some people that go this scale lose a lot of detail, because they're just going so large. I've seen a lot of big builds that they just get lost in what they're supposed to be doing on the walls or whatever it is. And Andrew had a couple techniques you guys can use here if you're building large as well. One of them, obviously, is the vines and ivy crawling up the walls along the base here. So that fills a lot of those open spaces with nice details. Of course, the trees and the terrain pushing up against it, but also you have a nice amount of brickwork and a bunch of variation on height, right? So there's different heights of battlements and crenellations, and then even along this, you see those arched, that arch hallway along in between in the middle of the castle there,
Yeah,
and then cutting. You gotta cut these large walls with windows and arrow loops, which you did. So those are really, really useful techniques that you've been using here to make this not just a big stack of gray bricks, because I've seen people
yeah,
do that. That, and then it's impressive. Oh yeah, you built something really big. That's kind of impressive. But like if you're not, making it appealing to look at, I find this pretty appealing to look at, but it's not too busy. That's the other thing.
yeah. So
You know.
if you look here at this side profile, and I've got a side profile down here in the bottom left hand corner of this.
Yes.
So it's very, very similar. It's fairly accurate. I mean, minus the stud here or there. That was the initial
Right.
design. I even used
Right.
Phillips as measurements. Um, there was, as you can see in that little image down there in the bottom left, there's burp height. Those little
Hmm.
squares, those little tan squares, that's a burp.
Oh, sure.
And those are
A good,
actual measurements
a
of
good.
brick and plate studs, as you know, as they are.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's
So that's a
literally by like a brick height, stud
right.
width, like
Yep.
100%.
I like that. Okay, so that's a good like reference for when you were putting the thing together. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's very similar.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, I like that. Did you have to make a table or is it a
Yeah,
plastic
I was
folding
I was
table?
I was gonna answer these questions. I
Okay,
did
yeah, yeah, go for it.
a custom table for it. It's on casters. I do have to have a enclosed trailer to move it.
Yes. Yeah.
Let's see here.
Um,
The plywood it's built with 4x4 pressure treated aren't legs, and then supported by 2x4s and cross hatched and back and forth, and it's still buckling a little bit in the middle. So I'm thinking I'm going to have to add two more posts in the middle to support the weight, because it's currently on 4 legs and the center of the table itself is buckling a little bit.
okay. So you're gonna have to add a post or another set of legs in the middle there.
Yeah, yeah.
PX Chris, y'all been busy beavers. Yeah, and then I didn't even mention, family and all of the things we do with that too, and work. This is just the side hobby we're
So,
talking about.
here's another view. It's the same image that we saw earlier. It's just a little zoomed
Yeah.
in. You can see it a little bit better. This is basic terrain. This is not finished terrain. I do plan on putting a dark green wedge plates underneath the green plates that you currently see there,
Yeah.
to give it that darker edge right around the water. So I've
Mm,
got to pull all that green back up, lay the dark green around the edge, fill in with the plates around, and then stack the green back on top.
it's gonna look real nice though.
But it's going to look way better because I'm adding an extra color in there.
Yeah, well, and here with this close-up, you can also see how you got the fiddlehead ferns around the base, and it looks like you bled in a little bit of that olive green in the stonework
Yeah, there's olive green, light green, dark green, and dark bluish gray.
to show that the water lapping up against these stones and things is discolored and let it's like algae and stuff grow up on those stones a little bit. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Don Unlisted, for answering the Bailey question. It is a medieval courtyard or a courtyard inside a castle. So yeah, those were all the buildings. We're gonna drop them all around, nestled up against the walls. So that's one thing. Like if we did instructions for those buildings, just to jump back real quick to that, is that they're they're three side detail, but the back is straight. So you can see here in this image how they will nestle against the wall. So they're really made for courtyard or like city wall buildings. Now, that doesn't mean they're not usable in mocks and things like that, or to be fun to build because you can just build them up against the wall. But they're not quite fully like standalone buildings. They're really made for a specific purpose. They'd still probably be fun to build though.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't want to cut you off, Jason. I
Nope,
just
that's it. Yep, that's all.
cooler text mentioned the AliExpress cypress trees. I'll probably throw a couple of those in there. I bought 5 of every color, or maybe it was 10 of every color that they had.
Oh yeah.
So I have those in there, but you can see over here on the one side that I've got some brick built pine trees over
Yes.
here towards the left.
The olive
And
green one up there. Yeah.
I have bought enough pieces to build about 150 of those trees.
Yeah, so I guess that's a good segue into kind of the terrain if we want to talk a little bit about that. Like you got the cliff on one side, and then out on this front side, you're going to be building a pretty extensive forest coming up against the castle a little bit.
Yeah,
here along
there's
the
going to be a lot of
cliffs.
rock work, cliff work. There's going to be some cow pathways, and farmers, and a waterfall, joust. There's going to be a full joust and entertainment thing going on.
Yeah,
There's a lot of stuff planned out.
So the castle is a backdrop almost to a kind of a cool medieval landscape.
Yeah.
And tournament kind of going on with I mean, because you were going to potentially put up like a little logger camp up in the woods with them cutting trees and supplying the castle. If you see all the buildings, so all the buildings I built are functional buildings. There's a woodworker, a stone. I don't know if we did a stonework, but we did like all of the functional buildings you have in a castle, granaries and candle makers and all kinds of stuff. So you need all of those supplies to be taken into this castle, and they come from somewhere. And so, Andrew, I think you were planning to show at least some of those functions starting outside the castle, like the logs being rolled in,
Yeah.
or I don't know if you were planning to do like beehives for the beeswax and things like that, but
Yeah.
you're going to have these little life scenes going on outside the castle, which supply the castle and the buildings I built inside there. So that's it's a whole story being told right in this whole thing.
100%. Moving on here to the next slide, I want to be able to, yes, there's an ale and a brewery. There's actually ale storage and a brewery. Both.
Yeah. That's the one. I was trying to remember which one I did with the fireplace in it. It was the brewery.
So this is what I call the crown of the castle. It's a completely separate piece. It's basically just sets on the top. I got the full keep done and decided that I wanted to add a more high fantasy topper to it, just for visual pleasure.
Yeah.
Built the crown to set it. It just basically sits up there on the jumper plates, so it comes off really easily, and you can set it up in place, no problem.
It's nice. I like it. It really does crown the castle.
Yeah, and you can see the piecework that goes in along the top of all the stone.
Yeah.
I used like 4 or 5 different different plate studs.
Yeah.
And that goes all the way across the top, all across all the ramparts and across the balconies and everything. So there's literally probably 50,000 of those little pieces just laid over the top.
Wow. Yeah. Well, and again, guys, I keep bringing you back to the scale, but here's another good reference: is those red banners hanging in that middle section right past the gatehouse. Those are those. I'm trying to remember. They're just the banner piece, the little clip, the flag. The tapestry from the new medieval market. That's the size of one of those hanging there, right? Yeah, so that's kind of how you can see how tall those walls are and what you're looking at here. I mean, if people got some people would be pretty happy with building a castle the footprint of your gatehouse there, right? Like how many lion? Oh, go ahead.
The gatehouse is pretty massive.
Yeah, it is. I was just talking about the footprint though, not the height, just that footprint of the top we're looking at right here. How many Royal Knights castles could you set on top of that gatehouse, like next to each other?
You could set at least 2.
2, okay.
Yeah.
I would almost. It looks from here that you could probably get 3 lengthwise, but
maybe.
Yeah, that's that's crazy.
Don Enlisted. I don't prefer removing levels. I like opening walls. A wall opener.
Sure. Yeah. So you like either sectional that you can pop the whole thing open, or hinges? What do you think? What do you think about hinges? Like, I guess maybe not for this, obviously, but for a set, would you prefer a hinging set that opens instead of stacking?
Yeah, I mean, I like the hinges.
Yeah, I think I feel maybe that's a little bit of an old school thing too. A lot of the old buildings have like little hinges and stuff on them. I don't love the stacking because, like, when you stack it, where are you going to put all the rest of it? Like, you can hinge a building open and then display it open, but when you have these modulars that stack, it's like you can't display anything inside or have anybody looking into it because it's stacked. That's a bit of a problem for me because I'm like, here's 4 of the levels just sitting next to the bottom level. Like,
no, I don't think so. This castle is actually surprisingly strong the way that I've built it. But I mean, I literally bricked it to death. It's like the base is filled with Duplo. Like, literally, it's like a brick. So this is the gatehouse. When the gatehouse was first completed, it has been updated slightly since then. And then you have a full-on front view of the castle going back down the table, which is pretty fantastic.
That's massive. Consider the size of the siege ladder you would need just to get up to that.
Oh yeah, it'd be unreal. It'd have to be like there's like what? I think there's 4 levels on the
Well,
inside of the gatehouse.
you can just see the size of these minifigs down here.
Oh
right?
yeah, the minifigs are like dwarfed
They're
in
tiny little, little ants down there. Yeah, siege on this castle would hurt. You'd really need siege towers of a Lord of the Rings scale to come up against this thing.
Oh yeah. All right, you guys ready to see some of this interior? I've got 3 interior shots that I'm going to show you.
Okay.
I'm going to show you one last after that, just to kind of wrap up on that.
Yeah, let me read a couple questions while you get those ready. Adam says, this kind of set within Lego Castle lore, or you have come up with your own story around it, or have you come up with your own story around it?
There's some elements that I've kind of come up with.
While keeping it somewhat in Lego Castle lore still.
Yeah.
I think because I know we had talked a little bit about incorporating a lot of the classic factions still within the countryside and stuff like that. So, like visiting knights for the tournament and things like that, we were talking about there. So that I mean, we're not going like full custom figs and logos and all that for it. There's still it's the Lion Knights castle here. And, yeah, so there is that element of Lego lore to it. I think you kind of, though, I would say it leans more towards custom lore, because you and I have had some pretty in-depth conversations about the things that are going on with the castle, and Andrew has talked to me about some fun ideas he's had with the forest and the things and the people that are there and what's going on underneath the castle and stuff like that. So there's actual, I think, more your own lore than Lego castle lore.
Yeah. Nick's Castle Bricks looks really nice, but if you don't mind some constructive criticism, I would say the slope of the drawbridge is a bit on the steep side. And I would agree with you. Let me explain why. Below that walkway is a floor. And I was running into an issue with height, showing the rooms below where I was going further and further into the ground. And if I had done it too much further, I would have had to raise the entire base up 3 or 4 bricks to get that floor in there, because it would be inset into the ground. So what I did was I raised it up just enough to where I could fit rooms underneath that Bailey walkway, that gatehouse walkway that goes into the Bailey. The gatehouse actually has a basement in comparison to like the second section there with the first Bailey. So it was it was kind of like, okay, what do I do here? What do I do here? What do I do here? And also, I planned on raising the base where the drawbridge actually is up. If you look at the picture on the right, was the original, which is 1 brick up. If you look at the picture over here showing the full front, you can see a stair stack level of grass.
Yeah, it's
on top of that, so it's going to raise it up even more. So you're getting less and less of an angle on that drawbridge.
Okay, so building a little bit of terrain up on it makes a lot of sense. That's actually pretty accurate too. They would have sometimes they would even have a whole secondary like little gate thing going on out in front here where they would attach that, or a causeway up to it. So that makes sense. Yeah. Sometimes with a scale this big, when you're talking about adjusting heights and things like that, when you're building on this type of scale, it's like the consequences of those type of adjustments are kind of catastrophic. So keeping what you intended or trying to fit in what you want, it can be tricky once you get this big. So
yeah. So giving you some additional details on the gatehouse, there is the drawbridge. Then you have the big doors that are brick built, and then on the back portion of that, you have a giant steel port cutlass that drops.
Yeah.
There are murder holes so that you can trap intruders into the gatehouse center and kill them on sight.
Right. So it's the killing. You got like a killing pit right in the middle, a kill box.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Just like they had in real castles. So they smash in and then gate closes behind them or whatever, and they're stuck inside, and you drop hot oil on their heads or whatever.
Yeah, and I've even got some of those little pots.
Yeah, you got the pots, you got the stones ready to throw and everything up there.
So I want to move on here because
I
want to get to these other images. So this next image is the King's Chambers. This is
There
the
we go.
actual
Yeah.
king's room.
Very nice. That
So
bed's pretty cool.
the bed is awesome. The table is awesome. I put my chess table in there. I've got a fireplace in there that does light up.
Mm-hmm.
I've got all the lion banners that match the classic barding.
Yeah, and you got the gold chromed sword over the fireplace.
Yep.
Yep.
Doors on both sides.
Yeah, the vinyl banners retro, those are really nice. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, we need to get a hold of a couple sheets of those myself. Yeah, and then a really cool that I pointed out when you showed me this image originally, Andrew, is this what you did with the key shields, built them into a banner on the wall there. I really like that because you mirrored the red and blue checker on the shield. But yeah, that's a fun, clever little building technique you did there.
Yeah, I only did that. I think I only did that in the king's room.
I mean, it would look good in a lot of the rooms if you wanted to add more of those, but it looks
I
great.
may have done it in the dining hall as well. I can't remember.
Yeah. Well, it's a cool idea. I like it. I also like that you filled these doors with the little a red brown secondary like little mini door inside the window cover, like the shutter. So it looks like you could open and close those as like windows, but they keep the privacy there. That's kind of a fun little touch you did with the doors there too.
So all the rooms in this castle are fully built out.
Yeah.
There's there's a purpose for every single one.
Yeah.
They all connect. They all connect through stairways. You can only get to this chamber if you go all the way through the castle, through the keep. On the back floor of the keep, I have 2 staircases that go all the way up that reach the royal level. This is on the royal level.
Right. Okay. Yep.
So on the front side of this, you got a hallway on both sides. It goes up to the daughter and the son's room, prince and princess.
Yeah.
And then on the back, the hallway goes into the family solar, which is basically their living space. And it's above the dining hall.
Mm-hmm.
And this room here is above the throne room.
Perfect. Yeah, I like that. Yeah. I like the curtains with the chains around them.
Yeah.
There's a lot of nice little like details. You can look at this for a while. This is definitely a lot going on. Even I mean, once you add those minifigs into each one of these rooms, like it's really gonna make it come alive. But yeah, so this is a good example, like you were saying, of what's going on inside this castle. Every single area is detailed out to this extent or more, because I've seen some of them that have more detail than what you're showing here.
Yeah.
Just because of the function of the room. For instance, like the kitchen or the cellars, right, where you needed a lot of things hanging on walls and a lot of barrels stacked and people doing.
As you're building these, you have to put all this stuff in before you put the next layer on.
Right, because otherwise you'd be like, you couldn't. Trying to.
Secondly, this whole castle is lit. There's LEDs running on the top of every level.
Oh yeah.
So you can see it at night. And I'm gonna give you an example. This is the armory.
And those are the LEDs. So yes, I forgot you did that.
Right in there.
Holy crap. Nice banner. Hang on, we're gonna rapid fire a couple questions. Peter N, love the key shield banners. Those are awesome. Sire Black Falcon wishes to visit and negotiate a trade. Nice banners. How long did it take you to build this castle?
And I've been working on this, dude, for probably 2 years now.
Yeah, it's been I think maybe over 2 years at this point. Dude, this is insanely good. Sorry, go ahead.
Planning 3 years.
Oh yeah, planning. Yeah, this has been.
We were planning this when I was living in Florida.
I remember. Yeah, because then you moved. I remember that because you moved and you did a big move and had to like go dark for like almost 6 months. You were just really busy doing your whole shift over to your new area and stuff like that. And then you came back on the grid, and I was like, hey, what's going on? But I remember you had already been kind of planning this out. So yeah, it's been a long time, and it's impressive you got as much as you did done. Like
yeah.
This is not an easy, obviously, like just looking at this, like, PX Chris, the stonework on the fireplace and chimney is pretty great looking too. Lorem Ipsum is
weak fireplace compared to some of them.
yeah. Oh wait, what did you say?
It's a weak one. That one there is a weak one compared
Oh,
to some
compared to some of the ones.
Yeah, some of them look way better.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
I still managed to get the lion heads in there though.
yeah. What is cool about this? It is still a nice fireplace,
Mhm.
and what's cool is you have different styles, right? So there's not every fireplace in here isn't the same. You've
No.
done different styles. Some are more intricate. Some have maybe look like they were put together with more skill, and then some are less. So this is cool because like it is a nice looking fireplace still, even though it may be one of the less detailed or heavily designed ones in the castle. That just goes to show you how the extent of what's in the castle, right?
Yeah.
So, let's see. What? Oh, hang on. Is that the old crown or the one with the supports inside? Are you talking about the one on the chest there, or the one? It
The
must
one
be the
over
one in
here
the
in the corner?
chest. Yeah, the one in the corner.
That's the one from the Royal Knights.
The original.
Yeah. I have a
Yeah.
bunch of them.
Yeah, same. I got a bag full. Um, Longbows above the door look nice. Talking about the armory. That's Retro Space Coast says that. Yeah, that's a really cool touch. Oh, it is worthy to note also if you look closely, the almost every single bracket on the wall is done in black to represent what, like wrought iron,
Yeah.
right? So it's not the same colors as stone. So these were like driven in. You can see like all of the hangers and little torch holders and spear halberd hangers and everything. They're all like black
I
iron
wanted
driven
it to
into the
be as
walls.
authentic as I possibly could using little plastic bricks.
Yeah. I also really love these custom banners you built along the back here. Very nice. Just the simple logo, but that yellow one especially is drawn my eye.
Yeah, they
It's
do.
very nice.
They
Yeah,
look
I
really
like
nice.
that. Yeah, I could look at this armory for a while. I've never seen armor shelved like that. Actually, which is interesting. I've seen a lot of Lego Castle mocks.
It looks nice that way.
It looks great. Well, it makes sense too. Like, yeah, it works really well.
I mean,
There's
I literally said, okay, I'm putting all these weapons in. Goodbye, weapons, because they're never coming out until the
Yep.
castle is taken
Yep.
apart. And the castle may never come apart. It may just sit and collect dust when the whole project is said and done and over.
Yeah.
I'll just buy more parts.
I bet you there's some museum somewhere that would probably be interested in purchasing it.
I don't know that I want to sell it.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's part of the family now.
Okay, so beyond that, let's jump back here. So underneath this castle, if you recall, I said, hey, the drawbridge had to raise up one whole level. I needed to get a level in there. So from the gatehouse all the way back, underneath that, what I consider the rock terrain, what you see here, all the way to the back, there is a full cave system.
Yep. Yes,
Full
there
cave
is.
system. It's called the Crystal Caverns. Okay, and I'm going to give you an example of that right now. It's the very last piece under the last Bailey over here on the far left. It's beneath that, and that's what this looks like underneath.
It's so good, dude. Yeah, I mean it's a whole other environment under the castle.
Yeah.
And now, what is your intention for this? What type of minifigs or creature or boats or what are you putting in here?
I've got a spot where there's actually going to be dwarves mining under the castle.
Okay.
And the further deeper you go into the cavern, there's going to be like spiders and, there's spider eggs, spider nests. They're all over. I mean, you can kind of see how it's kind of nested. There's nests in there.
Yeah.
But, it's riddled with spider webs.
Got it.
And
so
yes,
the dwarves out there fighting the spiders for the crystals?
I mean, in the one section, they're going to be shown mining, and there's a hoist that goes up into the castle that shows them where they're like shaping these crystals. And then as you get deeper and deeper, there's just spiders in the back.
Yeah,
they're not fighting the spiders necessarily. They're just in their own area of the cave.
I do like the spider webs in the walls as opposed to just plastered on the walls. You've built nooks and cave
Oh yeah,
chunks.
I
Yeah.
hid every single spider web hook. I hid it.
Yeah, and I'm gonna tell people. I mean, most people have probably know that these damn little spider webs are actually harder to place than you'd think. It's not necessarily an easy task to make them look. These look very natural. I like that because they're webbed over areas where spiders would actually web over. Yeah, I
Yeah,
like that. That's very clever. People are the comments are blowing up, dude. Damn, dude, Minecraft inspired this. Lush caves, right?
lush cave biome, dude. All
Yeah, dude. All day long. Peter N. Wow, retro. This part just take it to the next level, man. Generaltron's
now,
bricks
mind you,
impressive.
mind you, this cave runs underneath the entire castle. This is just one piece.
Right. So there's
This is
more.
one of the 9 pieces underneath. I mean, and there's cave. The cave system runs through 6 of them.
And this is just one of the larger rooms in the cave.
Yeah, this is one of the larger ones.
Right, because I've seen another angle of this with different stuff going on.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. So I like also the mushrooms, all the mushrooms and like foliage down inside of it. It's very cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's you want to talk about eye candy, man. You see this thing in person and
Yeah.
it's like holy shit.
I bet it is, dude. I would. Yeah, man. This is one of you got to have like this shown in at the show when you bring it because I know you're planning to bring it to some shows once it's
Well,
all
yeah, I
said
mean,
and done.
when I take it to the shows, I'm gonna build a cart system to where each piece is sitting on its own cart, so I can quickly wheel it out and like change it so you can see the insides
Yeah.
of everything.
Let
So
people kind of
when
get
my
some looks in there.
display is fully open, I'll need about 60 feet
Yeah.
so you can see
Yeah.
the section as
Okay.
it goes back.
Retro says you can get a cool little barrel raft in there for a dwarf to maybe move around on. I like that. That's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Dawn enlisted exterminators for the spiders. Great visual, nice details everywhere. Spacer Nate. There's ghostly snails summoning terrible enemies down there in the caves. I bet. I'm too amazed by your work to comment, says Brookativity. And yeah, I mean, but you
I
did
appreciate
comment.
it.
So there's the juxtaposition of that situation there. Let's see. Oh my God, there's amazing spiders, says Louise. Yeah, let's see. Are you go up to oh, sorry. The Cyclops CMF in the caverns or cave outside the castle. Yeah, so you're not going to be doing too much more fantasy other than dwarves, I think, right?
Yeah.
So, because you are keeping it fairly grounded in historical, realistic castle, but since this is all underneath,
As much as I can.
right? So you're probably not going to drop many more mythical creatures inside this build.
No.
So that answers your question, Minifig Collector. Also, I want to point out real quick, Steve Moon dropped a couple comments earlier in the video. He said it's going to be 2 a.m. in Egypt, where when you go live, so no promises of being awake. Johnny Thunder sends his regards, though. Thought I would just mention that. He messaged me the other day and said he was going to be in Egypt for work. I didn't ask him what he does for work. I was just going to let it go, but he's over there. So thanks for
Yeah.
dropping in, Steve.
Speaking of Johnny Thunder, I mean, I could take this cave, throw Johnny Thunder and gang in there, and you wouldn't know the difference.
Yeah, for real. This is what would this be, the 5th series 5 Johnny Thunder? The caves.
Lush biomes. Retro,
Yeah.
yes, those are the leaf pieces in the foreground. Basically, what I did is I used the 2x16 plates, and they're stair stacked, 7 deep, all the way across. And then inside there, I put a couple little pins sticking out,
Yeah.
so that I could hang those. And obviously, that's how I've kind of worked out the lighting in this. The structure of this is absolutely next level. Like the rigging and the framework for each level to hold the lighting is absolutely, like, I couldn't have done it any better, I don't think, to be honest. It's extremely strong. This back piece right here, even with that wide open space, I can set myself down on that Bailey full weight, no problem, and it will not flex. And that's the power of plates. Stair stack.
Dang.
7 deep. 7 deep plates. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, they really they like fuse to each other at that point.
And then when I do that, I'm cross hatching them, right? So you got front and going front to back, and then side to side, and they have to equally balance out to a 16 by 16 plate. So they're conveniently, it's like every 8 studs is a 2 by plate that is supporting it underneath, and then beneath that 2 by plate, there's 6 other plates underneath of it that are stair stacked in and kind of webbed out. I almost built the entire frame system over top of this before I even put it on the build.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you have to. Yeah, again, I mean, when you're building something this large, your techniques kind of shift and adapt to what you have to do. And you're probably pushing the envelope and learning new ways to do things as you're putting this together.
Yeah.
So.
Somebody was asking, Laura Mipsum, I'm starting to wonder if there is an escape route in this cave and tunnel system. And there is. And I can't really point it out, but it's in this image right here.
Oh, is it the little sally port there?
No.
Or is it lower down?
Straight below the first big tower, first big square tower with the blue roof.
Yeah.
Follow that crosshatch straight down all the way to the base. See, there's a little tiny black hole right there.
I see it. That's how you get out.
That's how you get out.
I love it. I wanted to bring this image up actually back when we were looking at it first time to point out the sally port there. But I did see you actually have a couple other entrances along the other side. But that's another, historically accurate feature on these castles. So
yeah.
So they wouldn't have to open the main gate. They could send a little contingent of men to burn a trebuchet and then sneak back in.
So you've got this door here, the bottom door here below the archways. There's a little tiny door right in the middle of the castle. That actually goes into the bottom floor of the kitchen.
Okay.
Like the basement of the kitchen where they actually slaughter the animals.
Got it. So that's almost like a livestock door.
That's a livestock door
that
goes in, and there's literally a butcher on the other side of that door.
Nice.
So there's like the full meat locker with like bleeding pigs and like chopping plates, the whole 9.
Yeah.
Inside that door.
Roasted pigs and all that.
Yeah. The kitchen is right above that. And if you can see, I don't think you can barely see it in this image. Maybe you can see it better in this image. Right above the door, below those archways, is a few little tiny archway holes.
I see them. Yep.
That is where the ovens exhaust the smoke.
Oh, the vents for the ovens. Yeah. Perfect.
Okay. So like it literally, like 100%, everything is as accurate as I could possibly build it with Lego. Okay.
It's so good.
I'm trying to see. There's one other one. Oh, right here. If you look at the archway, again, the patio.
Yep.
Follow that rail straight to the left. There's 2 little tiny pinholes right there.
Yeah.
You can see them, little tiny black holes with a little slope in there.
Mm-hmm.
That's the shitter.
Oh, got it. Yeah.
There's another shitter in the gatehouse too, but it drops down into the moat.
Right.
So it comes out through the side out tower here.
Yeah, you got to have Lego loves putting them in their castles too. You got to have the toilets on the wall, right? That's a must. That's a must for even a small castle mock. If you don't have your toilet built on your wall in a small castle mock, you're doing it wrong.
Several bathrooms in this. I've got cesspools inside the castle where there isn't any, and that's obviously I've got like the
gong farmers shoveling that.
Farmer, okay. I mean, there's literally like little pots of poop, and it literally, like, you can see the pipe that goes down.
That's the way it's got to be.
Yeah, so it's very, very, very accurate. All those holes are purposeful. We got the side door for the slaughter. We've got the kitchen exhaust. We've got the shitter pipes. We've got a back door that goes into the back bailey, which is basically just a kind of a fun door where they can bring in animals, or there's some farming back there. This is these two images here on the left are in the back bailey.
Oh,
So
right. Okay.
you can bring carts in and whatnot. There's going to be a couple apple trees in there, some granaries, and then there's a garden here. This is obviously the garden is pre-built, so you've got the grass level, and then you have the dirt level where it's kind of like Minecraft, where you've like created farmland. So it's a little
Yeah. Tilled dirt.
yeah, it's filled up.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm going to build into that quite heavily.
Are you going to? Oh, go ahead. Sorry, you were just gonna answer me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna put all kinds of stuff in there. All
Okay.
different kinds of plants.
Because it would be kind of cool. Because you could take, those the 1x2 little sloped bricks that are like they're not sloped angles. They're actually like curved slopes.
Yeah.
You could do like those in like a little pattern and actually make the earth look tilled. Like,
Oh yeah.
But if you're gonna fill it with actual plants and stuff, then that would also be pretty cool.
Yeah,
But,
I'm gonna fill it with everything. General Tron's books mentioned spices. So yeah, as you can see there along the one wall, I've got some it's like a grapevine kind of thing for winery.
Gonna have chamber pots in the bailey. Maybe not. Well, the bailey would be the courtyard, but what about like up in the some of the chambers and stuff?
All the rooms have chamber pots. Yeah.
Perfect. I love it. Lorem Ipsum, I'm starting to wonder if there's. Oh, we already read that one. That was the escape one. Will you incorporate Robin Hood and any Forcemen, Andrew?
Yeah, there's gonna be some Forcemen in there.
Well, yeah, because I mean, the Forcemen are based on. Well, I'm trying to remember what they were called. It was Loxley and his men, but they're like rangers, and a lot of times Forcemen. There you go.
I have rebuilt. Some of them are standard from sets. Some of them are K-Town prints.
Yeah.
But yeah, so just some regular forest folk here.
Well, yeomen is what they were called. And they were basically forestmen, but they were, they weren't always outlawed. They were like the rangers or the, elite archers, just woods craftsmen that weren't necessarily against the king. I mean, yeomen were people who were that type. That was their occupation, and you would have them as you could even hire them as men-at-arms or whatever. Because I mean, you get the story of Robin Hood and his guys. A lot of those books talk about them fighting in the Holy Land before or after the stories were taking place.
Yeah, this is
the king.
This is not a confrontational build at all.
Yeah.
This is going to be just a full-out medieval landscape, if you will.
Kind of more peacetime.
A full tournament going on out front.
Yeah.
I've got a couple of the other factions that are going to be a part of this. I've got them right here, and I can show you guys those.
So you have a couple. You will have a couple thugs in the dungeon, so.
Oh yeah, Wolfpack's in the dungeon.
Of course.
So I'm including the Raven Knights, and each one of they're a little dusty. They got some spider webs on them, but each one of these side factions has an archer. So there's going to be a full archery tournament going on.
Perfect.
Then you've got the Falcons, the new Falcons.
Yep. My contingent of heavily armored knights.
Yep.
In true Falcon fashion.
True Falcon fashion, right there. Then we're gonna have the Black Knights, a little bit updated.
Right.
Still building some of those guys out. And then, and these are all going to be featured at the joust. And then we've got the Bear Knights. The Bear Knights are going to be there.
Yes. I love it.
So it's going to be quite the show up front there when we do get the joust fully built and the tournament all built out. It's going to be pretty spectacular.
That's going to be super cool. I like that. Yeah, so good representation with a bunch of different factions there. Yeah. So is this do we have any more slides, or are we?
That is it. That is all I'm showing today.
Yes, that's your in-depth sneak peek of Lionstone Castle. Andrew's big work in progress. Yeah, it's been fun, Andrew, to take a look at what you've really been putting into the community and the hobby here. I think a lot of people might not know, what's going on in the background. So it's nice to get you featured. And yeah, okay, it's been a collaborative effort. Yes, I helped on certain things, but obviously, I mean, you put in 90% of the work and design into this thing. It's beautiful. So as much as I know you're trying to deflect some of it onto me, and I appreciate that. This is really a it's a great achievement that you've worked on here, and I'm looking forward to the day when we can show the world all of it and everything that we've done here. So, yeah, man, it's
Yeah,
really
it
cool. Thank you for sharing this with us.
should be great. Jason did buy the burps.
Yes, I helped. I helped buy the burps. We did a mass order when they dropped those dark tan ones on the pick a brick. um, let's see. Yeah, Luis, this castle is so inspiring. General Tron's bricks, very nice castle. Lorem Ipsum, insanely awesome. You're going to bring it to Brick Fair, Virginia, 2025.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Uh, Daniel O'Brien, Biren. This it's amazing. It definitely gives me some inspiration. Wish I could see it in person. Yeah, that'd be one day we will get to see this in person. Donna Listed says very nice. Looking forward to seeing. And then PX Chris says looking forward to seeing this at Bricks Cascade. I don't know if it's gonna make it all the way out to Bricks Cascade.
You realize I'm in Tennessee, right?
That's
Oh yeah, drive.
BrickCon, Bricks Cascade. What's the other one? Brick Can in Canada. Yeah, we're all on the west coast or the Pacific Northwest over here. I don't think we're gonna get the big castle out here. Although if maybe one day, who
Yeah, I mean,
knows?
maybe I might.
That's a long.
I might be able to do it. I know I'll hit up Atlanta. I'll hit up Brick Fair, Virginia. Um, I know that I'll probably do Chicago, Indy, Louisville, and that'll probably be about it because I'll have to. I've got to have a 12 to 14-foot trailer
Yeah.
enclosed that I have to carry. So
Yeah.
it's kind of
And then,
it doesn't fit in a van. It's got to stay on its table. You know what I'm saying?
right. Set up and take down. You got to drive carefully. Like it's the whole thing.
It's easier just to roll the whole table into the back of the trailer,
right.
strap it down, and then bounce.
Yep. Yeah, I know. I totally understand that. Let's knock out these last final questions before we call it a night because this was a really fun chat. A lot of curiosity in the comments and stuff like that. A lot of people like it. Matt Braden jumped in late, but like what I saw. Retro Space Coat says, "How did you decide on the dark bluish gray with the light accents?" Curious. Well, that is somewhere where I actually kind of put in some help with that. You and I, we bounced those ideas back and forth a lot. What colors needed to be done. So.
Well, I also wanted to look. A lot of this was deciding, okay, what pieces are available, what pieces are priced.
That's true.
Like the 2x2x3 slope, the double wide slope. Those are plentiful in dark gray. So I picked the dark gray because I knew that I wanted the walls to jut out, which was accurate to historical castles.
Yeah.
Then I went with the blue roof because again there was the peak point, the 2x2 quadro angle piece or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
Plus all of the corners.
The corner one, yep.
The single wide, the double wide, those were all available in blue. So I took the dark blue and I said, okay, this is what I'm going to do with this because I still wanted it to have like a classic Lego castle look. Like from the exterior, I didn't want it to be like all mishmashed with like a bunch of little tiny pieces and hinges and this and that to create these roofs. I wanted it structured easily so that I could pop those things off. All those roofs are just sitting up there on tiles, so I can take all those roofs out. And the only way I was going to be able to do that was if I built them as its own unit.
Yeah. No, I understand that for sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's see. Yes.
I mean,
Don Unlisted says he lives in Vegas. Any chance of coming out west? I mean, we kind of covered that. Maybe one day we get it out
if
here. But yeah,
the project goes the way that I want it to go, I will
I'd
probably go all over the United States.
probably yeah, yeah, and I'll be meeting you, meeting up with you at these places too to talk to people and stuff. So,
Yeah.
let's talk about Lego Live Show on the road.
Well, I mean, too, you'll, I mean, as soon as I go to a show, oh, what's her face, Beyond the Bricks,
Yeah,
they'll be, they'll
be on the
be,
brick. Yeah,
they'll
yeah,
be up my ass over this
yeah,
castle, sure of it.
for sure, 100%. Yeah, get that. You got to get the Beyond the Bricks review.
So
Or yeah,
there'll be that video as well that you'll be able to see. It's still
right.
just a video. Like I said, seeing this in person is completely different than seeing it in a photo.
Yep, I bet. BZ says, great work, guys. Love seeing castles and fantasy builds. Definitely a lot of work and money spent here. Absolutely. Jose says, great. I'll get to see this live next year. Let's see. Mirko says, this gives me a huge inspiration. Never to do anything with mocks. Wait, what? General Tron, are you in Oregon? No, I believe he's in England. Dark Gray, Dark Gray plays off the dark bluish roofs nicely. It does indeed. Yes, that was a good decision. PX Chris, sweet. Likewise, I'm near Salem. I'm closer to Salem than Oregon. Okay, they're talking about where they're at. So yeah, yeah. Maybe I can drive to Tennessee, says Don Unlisted.
I love the
You
place.
know, if this drops at a show, it'd be worth the drive to go out, get a ticket, take a quick couple day vacation, get out there and get to see this in person. I can guarantee you it would be worth it. So, yeah.
Done enlisted. The forefront corner tower here with a blue roof is the one that has the cache.
Oh, the cash. Someone said he mentioned that earlier. He's like, I know there's cash hiding somewhere in that. I saw it on YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah, I dropped 10K in there.
PX Chris, Beyond the Bricks filmed my last display at Bricks Cascade, which I believe that's the one in Oregon, I think. Yeah, Beyond the Brick did a video for me as well, like 4 or 5 years ago. They did my Poseidon Pirates build, so it's fun to get to talk to those guys. They do a lot though. They anything that's slightly interesting, they'll jump on. So.
Oh yeah.
Not to downplay getting an interview from them, but it is fun. It is definitely a lot of fun.
Well, I mean, I will say this. I don't think that this is the biggest Lego castle that's ever been built.
I mean,
it's close.
It's close.
There might be one or two that are slightly bigger.
It's in the top 10, right?
They're not even close to my piece count, though. They're not even close.
Right, because a lot of them do a lot of facade builds where they're not filling those.
It's all walls, and it's all walls, and the interior is negative. You know, and I mean, even if you do see the interior, it's very dull. Where the interior of mine is detailed to its fullest capacity, where I'm like, if I can fit something else on the wall, it's going there. If I can put an extra piece on the floor, it's going there. You know,
yeah.
So plus I've got the full cave system inside, which is, you know, so everything you see on the outside has equal amount of parts on the inside.
If not more, yeah. Because you're building floors, and you built multi-level floors inside all of these things. So, yeah. Oh my, that is an epic castle. Thanks for joining in. Invictus. And then let's see, BZ Intense build is massive too. Oh, Intense's build is massive too. And he keeps expanding it. Yeah, that's different though. I mean, that's literal cities and coliseums and mountains. So it's a whole room of Lego castle. It's like if the best Lego city builder in the community did just a Lego city castle style, like, and it's better than any Lego city builders that I've ever seen. So
yeah, no, he's got a next level build going there. I mean, long term, I plan on expanding the terrain.
Yeah.
But when I say expand the terrain, it'll be adding another 5 foot by 9 foot table right next to
Right.
this one on both sides
Sure.
and the back, maybe 2 or 3 deep. I will have the space for it eventually.
Right. Well, at
But
that point, you could do like a cool, maybe like a columned sort of, not column, sorry, bad, not exactly what I meant to say, but like a cliff up, like poking up out of the tops of the trees and put like a really nicely designed like tower with a like a wizard library in it or something, right?
yeah,
Like the alchemist's tower up in the woods out by the castle, adding maybe, and then maybe some buildings, because that's another thing. It's so big that the terrain you build around it, you could build out whole little towns nestled in rocks and like, by
oh yeah,
streams and
yeah.
fishing holes
It's
and
literally endless because the castle is so
yeah,
big.
yeah.
Possibilities are big as well.
And then this slowly becomes a backdrop to a thriving, world of Lego Castle out in front of it. So yeah, man. It's this is inspiring. That is a good word. People have been dropping it in the comments. It is inspiring because it really gets the creative mind thinking of what you can do. And like you just said, endless is a perfect word to describe really anything you can do with Lego. But like it's yeah, absolutely. An endless possibilities to build around this thing. It's so cool.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess, guys, that's about it. That's about it on the castle.
Yeah. That's it. That's for now.
For now.
Keep your eyes and ears peeled for more from this castle and this project. We'll be slowly chipping away at the full intention for this project, and eventually, I think you guys are going to be really excited for how this is presented to the public, I guess.
Oh yeah, we
Yeah,
have quite intense plans. Some
yeah,
of it's already started, some of it hasn't. But it's been a passion project for years, and it's I would say I'm probably about 40% done with the build, 40% done with the complete project, 60%
sure.
done with the build.
Right.
Okay, so
Yeah,
there's still some big parts. I haven't named any of the characters yet, but they are going to have names. As you can see here in this one image, this is the royal family with a couple of
right.
advisors and some chambermaids.
Yep.
So there's quite a bit. There's quite a bit going on. There's a lot of planning. There's still a lot of thinking, navigating. So as time goes on, this winter I expect to make a good amount more progress. So maybe we can do another video in around the holidays or something on this topic.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah, that was fun. Thanks for showcasing the buildings I did earlier too. That was cool to see those again.
Yeah, that was just 2 of them. There's like 7 or 8, I think now.
Yeah. Hey, you got to keep the people wanting more, right?
Right.
Yeah, so that's it, guys. That's about it. Thank you for joining. A couple people just joined in and got really excited. Yeah, go back and watch the video. Drop a like if you enjoyed what you saw. Of course, thank you for the subscribers that jumped in over the weekend. We are about 20 subs away from 1,000 subscribers, so we will be hitting that this summer, and we are super excited about that. That's big news for the channel. It's big news for Let's Talk About Lego. That's a huge milestone. I never really thought we'd get that far. I don't know. Like we're just talking about Legos. So
Yeah.
we thank you so much. So drop a like, drop a follow.
Yeah, maybe if everybody jumps in there and likes this video right away, maybe the algorithm will kick it up, and maybe we can get those extra subscribers.
There you go.
This video can help do that because it is such a massive castle.
Yeah, and it is a lot of work, time, money, effort, sweat, put into that. So
Matt, I have not watched Shogun yet, but I'm going to.
Yeah. I just watched. I can't remember the name of it. Never mind. It doesn't matter. It was a dumb movie.
At this point, guys, I don't know what we're going to talk about next week. I am going to refer back to our list of untouchables that we have not reached yet.
Yeah.
So we'll pick something this week, and we'll be here next Monday.
Sounds good. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Have a great week.
Have a great week.
I wasn't sure. I was like, it's a weekend. No, it's Monday.